Hello, everybody. It is Walk Talk 21 here on YouTube, and I am back again with another episode of Sports Talk Live. This is the third episode of this series, and I hope to be developing more of a weekly schedule soon. I've had just been busy with things in my life, but we still are going to give this show the dedication that it deserves. So, I want to say thank you to everybody who may watch this. Hopefully, this show will grow with time. I have a lot of plans that I want to do other things with it, but we will see. But anyway, let's get into tonight's episode of Sports Talk Live, which is episode 3. This is college football. So, folks, college football is coming back about 7 Saturdays from now. We will see week 0 of the college football season. And for this episode tonight, I want to talk about the upcoming season and who I think will be in the playoffs. And then as we go along through the year, we will be doing this thing called the college football scoreboard, where we will be looking at live games as they happen and analyzing pretty much the whole entire season. So I want to start off by saying that for all those people who wonder, my 12-team playoff, I don't have all 12 teams, but I pretty much can tell you most of the teams are going to be in the playoff now. This one is going to be unpopular, but Alabama is going to be in the playoff. Sorry if you hear stuff behind me. I think people are letting off fireworks or something, but that's all right. But yes, Alabama is going to be one of those teams. I know last year they tried so hard to get one of their favorite people because, folks, the NCAA loves Alabama like a son. They do. You know this. They'll do anything that they can to get them in the playoff. And last year they tried so hard, but people would have caught on to it. So they're just like, okay, look, can't put you in this year. They're going to rebound. It was the first season under Calvin DeBoer, and honestly, to me, I don't like Alabama. People who know me know I'm a Michigan guy. I've always been a Michigan guy, so I don't have any love lost for Alabama. But I respect their program. But folks, they're going to rebound this year. In fact, hold on one second here. I want to pull this up really quick. Let me just take a look at this here. Quick, I want to see their schedule because I don't know their schedule off the top of my head. So they're playing Florida State at first, should win that. Then they play University of Louisiana Monroe, easy game, should win. Their non-conference games are pretty much slop, but that's the thing with most of these teams. They play Eastern Illinois in their I think it's homecoming game that they do. They always play that. They always play an FCS school in November. They're going to win that. They got Georgia this year, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma, and Auburn. They should be a lock to make it, especially being that the SEC is one of those schools that gets a conference champion. They get the automatic first round bye, and then they'll get a bunch of teams into the playoff. Um, Ohio State, folks, they are going to make it. Okay, I know, I know people are not going to like that, but as the defending national champions, they're going to make the 12-team playoff. Okay, now apart from their game against Texas to start off, most of their games this year they should win easily. I mean, they play Grambling State. First of all, Grambling State is terrible. I know Eddie Robinson used to be their coach way back in the day, one of the greatest coaches of all time. Took their program from basically like a also ran to one of the best in the during his time. Then they also play Ohio. Yes, they play the Bobcats, and they have a pretty easy schedule. They got Washington, Minnesota, Illinois, Wisconsin, Penn State, which is always a close game. By the way, Penn State's going to make the playoff. They have Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers, and they're at Michigan this year. Folks, they're the defending national champions. Even if they lose to Texas, they're going to get in because it's Ohio State. They're one of the favorite teams. The the NCAA loves Ohio State. They will never admit that, but they're sort of like that kid that gets the presents at Christmas time, but they don't want to say how much they like them. But if they could, they would give all of Alabama's presents to Ohio State. Notre Dame, okay, look. I don't like Notre Dame. People who know me know I am not a fan of Notre Dame's fan base in football. They act all entitled, and then when they lose games, they pretty much are, oh my God, we got robbed. No, you didn't get robbed. You didn't get robbed against Ohio State. You didn't show up. You showed up for like one quarter and then just decided just to stop playing. I don't know where Notre Dame was the second half of that game last year. I guess that they got lost in the off ramp somewhere and just decided to take the day off. But they're going to make it, although they cannot be one of the top four seeds because they're an independent. Most that they can be is a five seed. So maybe that's why they should join a conference, although they won't do that because they're Notre Dame. And if they join a conference, they lose their NBC contract and all the things that make them Notre Dame football. So they're not going to do that. Oregon's going to be one of those teams, folks. I know the Oregon Ducks. People say they should have won the national title last year, but they didn't. I'm sorry, but Oregon's going to make it. Um, Hold on here. Because I don't know all of the I don't know all of the I don't know all of these teams' schedules. I don't look them up, so if I have to look, well, that's what we'll do. Yeah, they play Montana State. They should win that. I know Montana State's a good FCS school, but they're playing Oregon. This shouldn't be like last year. I think the first game was against, I think it was like Idaho, and they beat them by 10. This one they should run away with against Montana State. And they play Oklahoma State. They have Oregon State in there. They have Rutgers, Wisconsin, Iowa. They shouldn't be in the Big Ten, but they are. Um, Hot take. This is going to be a hot take. Michigan's going to make the playoff too. Okay? I think this year they're going to rebound. Now, for the record, I did not like Jim Harbaugh. I thought he was a clown. He should not have been our coach. He was not Bo Schembechler, no matter how hard he tried. But I think that last year was one of those years where, it was a new season under Sean Moore, who I'm not the biggest fan of, but you know what? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. It was just, it's just one of those finding their way years after Jim Harbaugh left them to go and coach San Diego. Yeah, I still call them the San Diego Chargers, and they lost a lot of talent, but they've replenished through the NIL, and they play New Mexico first. I'm not watching that game, but they're going to win it. They have Oklahoma, tough game. Central Michigan, Nebraska, Wisconsin, USC, Washington, Michigan State, Purdue, Northwestern, Maryland, Ohio State. So the only really hard game that they have is other than Oklahoma. Pretty much it's USC and Ohio State. They avoid Penn State this year. Georgia's going to get in because they're Georgia and they pretty much have a lock to get in. I know last year they made it and they lost. Indiana will not be one of those teams. I don't have much faith in the Hoosiers. I think last year was a fluke for them. It was just happened to be a very good season, and I don't see them repeating that this year. Um, Clemson's going to get in. I'm not the biggest Clemson Tigers fan. Oh my God, Dabo Sweeney's amazing. Here's the thing, okay? Dabo Sweeney has two national titles because he beat Alabama. To me, you beat Alabama, I like you. But this is not the same Clemson team as you saw back in 2021 or 2019. This is like a Clemson team 4 years later. And last year they didn't have such a good year. But the ACC outside of Miami is not very good. Miami could make it, but I have to see them put together a complete season first. This is not the Miami of the 1980s. Back when they were known as, the U, when they had Howard Schellenberger and they had, I think, Jimmy Johnson. This is the present day Miami Hurricanes. They're a decent team, but a lot of times they get tripped up in games that they should win. So I think Clemson will get in. Miami, I do have them in tentatively, but I'll have to see as the season goes on. Um, if I keep it like that, but right now I do have them going in. Penn State, I have to, folks. It's Penn State, okay? It's not the Joe Paterno Penn State Nittany Alliance. But James Franklin is a competent coach. and James Franklin will do just enough to get Penn State in. I also predict that Penn State will be the second ranked or the second best team this year. I think it'll be Ohio State 1 and Penn State will be 2. Yes, you heard that here. I also think Texas is going to get in again. And I think my last team so far that I have getting in is out of the group of like 5 schools. It's not UConn, it's not UMass. Okay, they're not getting in. I would say Tulane. I think the Green Wave have just enough talent to make it. I know, with the group of 5, a lot of people say, well, what about Boise State? I think Boise State's overrated. I'm still of the mindset last year that Army should have been. I think Army was one of the 12 best teams. I know they lost to Notre Dame, but first of all, I didn't expect them to beat Notre Dame. Never thought they would, but they played really well, and they're actually one of my favorite teams. I am a big Army fan. Every time they do well, I like watching them. How they run the ball, their offense that they have to run, and just the program in general, I think, is on the upswing. So they're actually one of my dark horses to make the 12-team playoff this year, and I still think it'll be Tulane, but keep an eye out on Army. But yeah, we'll have to see as the season goes on what happens, and I think it'll be a fun season. When the season starts, we're going to be having a bunch of live streams on both Twitch and YouTube. I'm going to be doing ones where we go through the scoreboard, look at games, see the scores, and what I think is going to happen over the course of the season. But that was this episode. A little bit shorter. They're going to get longer as we go. I'm going to try to keep some of the longer videos down to maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, because I know that people don't want to watch for too long. But if we ever go live and this grows and we can get more people, I'm willing to do longer streams for you guys. But I want to say thank you for listening. This is Walk Talk 21 signing off. And I hope that all of you have a wonderful night or day wherever you are. And I will see you soon. Thank you.